Hi,
This is the appropriate way to start.
welcome to the chaos and wonders that is 3V. I don't know if you can hear Leona in the background, but she is giggling uncontrollably. And basically did what, as I'm going through archives, what Zed likes doing in the Sabat game, just going live in the middle of everything. Anyways. Yeah. All right. So before we get into the game and our wonderful players and the characters that they're going to have, let's do a couple of channel announcements right quick. So first of all, hi, welcome to the party. I have to find a better way of doing it. Welcome to the party. And thank you for stopping by and joining us today. Welcome to the Party is dedicated to creating an inclusive and equitable gaming community where folks can come and learn how to stream or play games on stream, and then we give them a place to do it. Like this show, yay! Also, shout out to our sponsors, Devin Rue, maker of fine fantasy maps, and you can find all of her amazing stuff at rueinc.com, and Tabletop Loot, maker of dice, shirts, mugs, and much more, and you can find all their great stuff at tabletoploot.com. And of course, So Nerdware, our official merch sponsor. You can use the code WELCOME at checkout to get 10% off your next purchase at sonerdware.com. So Nerdware, it's what the nerds wear. You can type exclamation mark merch in chat to get all this info, as well as if you would like to support us, Patreon is the best way. And you can support the channel and all of our ongoing work through Patreon. You will have access to interviews with players, mods, and DMs, behind the scenes look at games, from art to notes, and you'll help us in a goal to be able to underwrite amazing writers, artists, and creators from across the gaming universe as we try to showcase all of their amazing work here on this channel. You can check it out, patreon.com, Welcome Party RPG. You can use exclamation Patreon and Twitch chat to get that info. And if you really want to chat with all of them, words are hard. All of us amazing people, don't forget to join our Discord. You can type exclamation mark Discord in our Twitch chat to get our special Discord link and keep the conversation going. All right, with that out of the way, let's get to our players. So what I would like, we'll go around the table. We'll start with Sahoni. Please tell me who you are and what you are playing.
Oh, okay. I can do that. My name is Gar Sahoni Atkins, and my friends call me Sahoni. I am sorry. My script for my usual podcast doesn't work right here. But I use he, him, and I am playing Tyr, who is a big tiger man who likes romance and is very nervous about things and is just he's trying his best, guys. I'm a game designer, and you can find my stuff on places that I will call out at the end of the session.
Wonderful. And next we have, going around anti-clockwise because I like to be contrary, is our very own Morgan.
Oh, that's right. That's me. Hi. How's it going? Hello, I'm Morgan. My pronouns are both they, them, and she, her. I am playing Sadi, the half-orc storm sorcerer who is really cute, but real dumb. So it's good to bring her back. Thanks.
All right. And next is our DM, Steve.
Hey, everyone. My name's DM Steve. My pronouns are he, him. I'll be playing today Umar Sidar. It's not Omar, like I almost said. If you do say Omar, he will correct you. He is a human druid, and he is absolutely the smartest person in the room, and he absolutely knows it. You can follow me on Twitter at DM Steve if you like listening to garbage people, because that's me.
And next up is Lauren.
Hey, I'm Lauren. I'm she, her. I'm currently playing Akara, the tiefling barbarian, who last we saw her met up with an old flame. And we'll see how that goes. And you can find me online at all my stuff at lwsalinas.com. And yeah, I'm so glad to be back.
Wonderful. And last but certainly not least, our very own Phoenix, Angela.
Hello there, everybody. It's nice to be once again on the player side of things doing this. I'm going to be playing Friha. I am a Firbolg Grave Cleric who in no way, shape, or form exists partially just to give Umar grief and to watch over everyone else. And will in no way continue to try and accomplish this goal by any means necessary. But no, I'm so glad to be here and I'm so looking forward to this. I will, similar to Sahoni, shout out all of my stuff because it's a long list at the end of this session. But Miriam, take it away.
All right. Thank you. I realized I didn't actually go into what today's game is called. It is the Temple of Qauz-e-Qazah, which is a module that I wrote specifically for my campaign setting, Serzamin, which is a South Asian-inspired fantasy setting. So to set the scene for all of you, we are going to do a bit of some timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff in how we proceed chronologically. You all survived the temple, and you have just camped somewhere close by with, hopefully, Janjar. You imagine if people were watching a movie. Right now, Janjar is not on screen. Whether Janjar comes with you depends on what happens. But as you sit around the fire, tell me what your feelings are as you go over what all happened in the previous game. And I will leave it free for all. Whoever wants to go first can go first.
Sorry, one quick thing. Just to clarify, my handwriting's terrible. Vidya was our tutor, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm happy to go first. So Umar sits at the fire. His normal kind of like bombacity isn't gone. It's kind of evaporated. The temple has kind of eroded away a little bit of his sureness, his confidence. And internally, he's really struggling because he remembers, although he was able to contribute with his mind, his body, even though he can change it to anything he wants, a tiger, a giant scorpion, he felt like it failed everyone. He just could only be who he was. And to him, it wasn't enough. And he's reflecting on the events that happened within the temple.
All right. Anyone want to go next?
I'll go. Tyr is looking shaken but relieved, I would say. He went through a lot in that temple, I think.
Oh yeah, and we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah, I definitely think but I think he's going through and realizing and kind of reflecting on some of his own openness and impulsiveness and whether or not that's really the wisest thing to do all the time.
All right.
And I think he's also kind of scribbling, and because he got a journal last game, and he's very much kind of scribbling his own thoughts very quietly.
You're journaling in the spell book.
Oh no! He picked up a journal.
There was actually another journal. Yes.
Yeah. He's not journaling in the spell book, at least.
I was just like, okay, that's really.
No.
Sorry, my mistake. Yes, there was a journal that you purchased.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyone else?
What's the weather like right now?
The weather is, I will say, the events, whenever they finish and whenever you leave, it is probably maybe a couple of hours to dawn, and it is not too overcast. It's not raining. It's just coolish weather as it's in the mountains, say 15 degrees Celsius, which I do not know what it is in Fahrenheit. Cool. 69, 68 degrees.
59 Fahrenheit.
59 Fahrenheit.
All right. So Sadi's just laying down or packed, just sort of staring, watching the clouds sort of like just pass by, just not really contributing to anything. Because the thing is, does she ever? So she's just like watching the clouds as they're just slowly drifting by.
Do you see any particular shapes in them? Let's get back to you.
She sees shapes, but like she doesn't know exactly what they are.
And what about Akara or Fariha?
Akara is looking kind of far away, staring into the fire, but not really. It's that kind of, you're looking at something, but you're not actually looking at it. You just happen to be staring in that direction. She's the past 24 hours have been a little hard on her emotionally. She's seen some people that, at one time she was very close to, and realizes now how much of a part of her life they were and how much she's missed them. And she's almost seen, or thought she almost was going to see, several of them die. She's face to face with someone she didn't know she was ever going to see again, and now is trying to figure out how she's feeling about that. And basically the hard candy shell has a little crack, letting the candy center try to ooze out a little bit. She's not very comfortable with this, and it's very, she's thinking on that. How comfortable is she with that?
And with that thought, Fariha.
I think Fariha at this time is, I think she's still a little bit in like protector kind of mode, but doing the thing that I imagine a lot of anxious protector folks do, which is like trying to busy herself with things. So making sure the fire has enough things to tend to it, even though she's not particularly strong to move logs or anything to keep it going. But in terms of like her external appearance is just focused, determined, making sure everyone's taken care of, and like maybe occasionally poking folks to check in on them and see how they are. But there's a very, very much internally, she's occasionally taking time to process and give a furtive glance to Umar, keeping in mind what he said about like, you've tried to watch out for us and we're not all little anymore. And she's trying to process that with what she's defined a lot of her life as, and thinking over a lot of what she saw in the temple of sort of the missed opportunities of being honest about love, and also the dangers of holding on to it, and looking at Akara every now and then as well. And yeah, she's processing it.
And as far as I recall, I believe, Sadi, you were wearing the pendant? Or was Faria?
Oh, you mean the little glowing orb thingy?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was wearing it.
Okay.
And I believe Umar had it as well.
So the both of you are holding those little pendants that are now empty. And as you as you sort of are looking at it, you all, the scene sort of moves to the point where the memories come from. And last you recall, we're now actually going to replay certain parts that we couldn't finish in the previous game. So you come back to the part. You come back to the part where you see Tyr basically cocooned like a spider's meal, getting pushed into the altar. And everybody now, gravity righting itself again, you all fall to the ceiling that now turns into the ground. And you are right side up, and there's an altar and all these little symbols carved on it that look very similar to the doors that you've gone through. And as you spend some time figuring out what to do and how to work it, you figure out the sequence, and you manage to hear the sound of a bird singing a very familiar tune somewhere in the distance. You don't know where it's from. And as the final symbol lights up and your way is shown, you now hear the sound of the bird very clearly, almost like a calling for where you all should go. Everyone except for Tyr, what do you do at this point? See Changer sort of heading in that direction.
Is Tyr still stuck to the altar?
Tyr basically melded into the altar and then disappeared.
Okay, well,
You're not sure where Tyr went, to be honest.
He's a big cat. That's a lot of cat to go missing.
Yeah, and as you were sort of checking out the altar and playing with the symbols and figuring out the pattern, the altar seems basically made out of solid marble. So it's not like all you got to do is break the altar and out comes Tyr or anything. It's like, no, there's no way Tyr could be in this.
Yeah, that's not going to stop Akara. She's going to take out her mace and try to start.
Is it magical?
No.
Okay, yeah, it just bounces off harmlessly.
Ah!
Hold on, he may be in there. Let me take a look. And Sadi's gonna pull out a little she's gonna move her hands around and basically just cup him, and she's gonna try to send a message.
Okay.
She's like, Tyr, where are you? Stop playing hide and seek right now. We need you.
No response. You're not sure whether it's because Tyr's not answering, Tyr's unavailable, or whether the spell failed.
He's not responding.
So at that point, Umar is like, the key to this has to be Janger. So Janger's in the process of leaving the room, correct?
Yeah, there's almost towards some side of the room, there's you hear sort of stone grating, like some sort of a door is open, and Janger started drifting in that direction, following the sound of where now you can clearly hear a bird.
So Umar reaches out and grabs him by the shoulder and squeezes ever so slightly. This is needs attention now.
Who, Janger?
Yep.
And Janger stops and turns around and says, what? There clearly some door has opened, and that sound we were listening to, I can hear it better. Maybe that's where we're supposed to go.
But where did Tyr go?
I don't know. I don't even know what happened. Last I called, we were all fighting to not be impaled by spikes in the ceiling, and suddenly everything stopped, and we were I lost my senses for a moment. I didn't even know where I was, and the next thing I know, we're plummeting to our death, and then turns out it's not death, and then here we are.
Well, in either case, you're not leaving this room until we find Tyr.
At the very least, I don't think it's a good idea that we split up.
Fair, but we've already checked that altar. Theor's not in there.
True.
I mean, we've checked it, not you.
Okay.
And so he's gonna flip and just walk away.
And at this point, Janger's like goes around, goes knock knock, knock knock, knock knock on each corner to sort of test how hollow it is. Yep, still solid. And looks at Akara at this point like, really?
Chandra, please. He's my friend. I've known him since I was a kid. I can't leave here without him.
Oh shit! Sorry, did the wrong thing. Sorry, that's not what I wanted to do. I was trying to read it.
Yeah, I think if you click on the little gear, that kind of opens it up to allow you to read the spell.
Oh, okay. Hey, y'all! I barely played roll 20. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, that's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted.
Okay. So yeah, you were saying known since a kid.
I can't leave here without him.
Well, we can just keep standing here hoping Tyr shows up, or we can maybe move forward. For all you know, Tyr could be on the other side. Also, I just want to leave at this point.
You can leave. I'm not leaving without him.
Okay. And Janger starts moving again.
I get the impression his desire to get out of here is a lot more than any of our desire for our friend. Their desire, pardon, to get out of here is a lot higher than any of ours to protect our friend. It might just do well to go forward.
Still makes him a real big jerk. But I don't think there's anything left in this room.
He's scared. People, when they're scared, will resort to some of their worst features.
I mean, maybe I can try to break it.
I think if you're not getting through to it, Sadi, then maybe Tyr's not actually in there. I think let me just test something just real quick. Everyone back up a little bit, and I'm going to just try and do a Sacred Flame on it, just for the hell of testing to see if magic does anything on that same solid spot, but I'm already starting to make my way towards the exit as I do so.
Okay, everybody give me a dexterity saving throw, except for Tyr.
What? With pleasure. I don't know why I use that voice. I'm sorry.
Oh no, got rid of my character sheet. I gotta pull it back up. I don't know how to use this thing. That's not.
I did. Yes, I did.
You said dexterity saving throw?
Yep.
Let's see my damage.
And I think we're waiting on Faria as well.
Ooh.
Yep. So roll your damage and apply it to yourself, please.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was going to be. Thankfully, it's only 3 damage.
Yeah.
And I still had False Life on me, so I technically did not take any damage.
Yep. It just bounces off and almost hits someone and then just kind of goes right back to you.
And
go ahead.
Yeah, I probably when I cast False Life, it was sort of an aura of 4 different colored elemental ward around me.
Mm-hmm.
The damage is enough to get rid of it, but you see a whole chunk fall off, and it's just like a headache. I'm like, well, I think this is a sign we should just carry on.
Umar approaches in that way where you're gonna help immediately, but it's actually pretty clear that you're fine. So you kind of and kind of, yeah, let's keep moving.
I hate traps. I hate traps so much.
So do you all proceed into the next chamber?
With heavy hearts.
Okay.
If we gotta.
So as you pass through, you see that there indeed is a little stone doorway that now emerged that you didn't find earlier. And as you go through, for a moment, it looks like you're basically about to take a step and fall through, but instead of falling, you feel like you're falling like almost like falling downwards, but then suddenly you kind of stop and right yourself, and you basically walk, like there's this weird sensation of gravity being odd before you actually go through the doorway and find yourself in a very similar layout of like large cavernous space. You think you basically walked from ceiling to ground now to the next chamber. And in this chamber, you see a skylight about 200 feet above you. And where there's there was an altar in the previous room, as this seems to be almost like a mirror image. There is instead a very ornate tomb on a very high dais, and is centered in the skylight beam, with 7 small lights, each of different hues: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, indigo. And those 7 small lights are encircling the tomb. And I'm not sure if there's a map for this game. If there is, you see a green, a rose ring parakeet swinging on a floating azure blue bird perch, chirping the song that basically led you in here. And in front of the tomb, sort of kneeling and praying, you see a figure in ornate clothes. Beautiful, like long flowing hair. And as the figure sort of is alerted to your presence, turns and looks exactly like the male figure in all of these the lovers like statues and everything that you've seen, except you're pretty sure that legend was several centuries ago, and this prince has not aged a day over like human equivalent of like 30, in robes of azure blue. And he turns and he looks to all of you, and there's this look of surprise, and says, "Oh, usually it's only one person who's made it through." And sort of is like doing like a count, and it's like, huh, I guess sometimes you gotta bring your posse with you. um Hi, welcome to the inner chamber. Congrats on making it here.
I have a random question.
Yeah.
Is he hot?
Oh yeah, very hot.
Sadi's like, hey.
And he sort of looks you up and down, sort of gives you a very small smile, like sort of examining you, and sort of a little appreciative, but maybe a little distracted by just the sheer number of people that stumbled into this room. And says, so I guess you're here to take her blessing, and points towards the tomb.
So as Sadi does her normal thing, this is just like, yeah, it always happens. Umar takes the initial distraction to kind of side mouth to Freya and Akara and says, something is very wrong with this. He hasn't aged. This temple was built for some purpose. Why only one? Why do they need just one?
Fariha will begin speaking, and I imagine it like it sounds to anyone else around who doesn't speak primordial. It sounds very like in whispers, almost like a mixture of the wind passing by, a rolling set of rocks, a slight push of the sound that you'd hear from like a conch shell at the beach, and like a slight flickering flame. And she is going to speak that and use her eyes of the grave to detect undead within 60 feet of her. Because especially with Umar pointing that out and her just remembering that it's been 300 years, she doesn't trust this.
Okay. We will get to that in a moment. Fear.
Yes.
Yes. You find yourself sort of coming to some sense of, initially when you stopped resisting and gave in to whatever force was pulling you, you sort of lost track of time and space and everything. But now you're slowly coming to consciousness. You're not sure how long you were out or how long you were how like where you are. It's dark. You're basically blinded. Like you can't see. You're tightly wound up. You're not you think it was the cocoon or something, like you recall.
Can I smell anything?
Yes, you smell mustiness, like something, like basically centuries of an enclosed space.
Mm.
And you keep hearing, as you were going in, basically cocooned and sort of dragged in, you kept hearing a particular chant, which is, "There's no ruling love. It's an uncontrollable fire that cannot be started on one's whim nor extinguished on one's wish." And you keep hearing it. And at this point, I would like you to roll me a d20. Just a d20.
Okay. Well, I was grabbing for my physical dice, but let me go ahead and type that out.
You can do physical dice if you want, but I'm not going to
Okay.
deny anybody the feeling of virtual dice.
Oh! Maybe
boy.
I should.
Oh boy. Okay.
Why?
Okay. All right. So this is what's going on. As you sort of now feel yourself almost like you are able to sort of see, and you see yourself standing in the middle of some sort of a circle where there's 7 glowing lights. Above you, there is a woman wearing, I have to get the colors right. You see a woman in sort of almost like a green spectral shape, sitting on a swing, swinging above you, complete on a blue azure swing, just singing a song over and over again, almost in a trance. You get the sense if you try to interact with who's above you, you won't be able to interact, or you won't get a response. It's just almost like it feels almost like an illusion, like sort of like a loopable GIF, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And you see in front of you 6 spectral shapes bound to a glowing circle on a spot on the circle, unable to move. There are chains around them, blue azure chains. You see a red glowing woman figure looking at you and actually seeming to be the only one interacting with you. The rest are all just died and just, again, loopable gifts. And looks to you and says softly, repeats the chant back at you. And you think this is the person who's been chanting to you continuously. And as you feel your body getting fainter and fainter and almost being sucked into the indigo spot on this circle, and you feel like you're losing yourself. However, before the image of you in mirror form as a spectral creature appears in the indigo, you notice that this red figure stops chanting and starts moving her hands and wraps around you, almost sucking all that indigo aura back into your body.
Okay, so Red Lady's definitely more on my side. That's good.
And as all of your essentially life force comes back to you,
Mm-hmm.
you hear one whisper. The prince's heart is not his to bind. Free her from her feathered prison and free us all. And you wake blinded with 1 hit point. And you also have a level of exhaustion.
Oh, that's fair.
You get the sense that somehow this woman, whoever she was making sure that you didn't join them. And you now sort of feel like you're definitely bound, like mummy style.
Mm-hmm.
And you now start to hear muffled sounds around you. You're not quite sure what they are, but it sounds like people talking. You
Mm-hmm.
hear a, hey. It's like really faint. Really faint, like really far away. But that sounds somewhat familiar.
I definitely know that voice.
I know that flirting.
I will allow you to make a strength save to see if you can break your cocoon, and then we will go back to everybody else.
Okay, please. I'm gonna roll the real dice this time because I'm not trusting that.
Roll a 1. Roll a 1.
No. I've already done the one. I rolled a 16. Woo. Plus 0. So yeah, 16.
Yeah, you managed to sort of just... Okay, actually, just you know what? I'm not going to tell you how you break it open. Please tell me how you break your cocoon.
Well, naturally, as a big tiger, he's got claws.
Okay.
He's gonna strain and take his wrist and just kind of gently claw open like a cat through like wrapping paper.
Okay. Yeah, you now are able to see. However, you realize you are in complete darkness and you are in like a 7x2 marble box of some kind.
Ah, I see. Not where I want to be. Can I just slam? Slam the fist?
I will
or
give you
am I
one
still
more,
kind of stuck?
You're in a very small space, and this is a lot sturdier, so I will allow you one more, I will say, athletics check.
Okay. Less good. 8.
Or 8?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll be back to you in a moment.
Probably just banged my elbows or something.
Right in the funny bone.
Oh.
Yep. Faria, as you activate Eyes of the Grave, 60 feet, this room is actually pretty spacious. However, I'll say you're within 60 feet. Definitely, what can you just, for the sake of the audience, just tell me what the feature does?
Okay, so the feature, I am going to pull it up real quick. It is called Eyes of the Grave. There you go. I'm putting it into chat, but I'll also read it out. So you gain the ability to occasionally sense the presence of the undead. As an action, I basically know the location of any undead within 60 feet that aren't behind total cover and aren't protected from divination magic. I don't know anything about like how strong it is or its identity. I basically just, it's the best way to describe it. It's a spider sense for the undead.
Okay, so definitely the person in robes gives you a nice little thing. The tomb, the contents of the tomb doesn't, but the tomb and the lights itself and the bird on and the swing and the bird on top definitely also give you a nice little thing. And that's about it.
Okay. With that information to both Umar and Akara, he's dead. Much of this place has long been dead, and I don't trust it.
And at this point, the figure says, well, of course it is, because I had to ensure that I lived long enough to see this wicked sorceress to break this wicked sorceress's enchantments. Because you see, oh, that witch, basically, there was an evil sorceress who was jealous of my beloved and the love we shared, and enchanted her to always be apart from me, even in death. And all I've been trying to do was to break it, but in trying to break it, the enchantment claimed my beloved. So our souls are now will never be together. And I had to construct this temple to get the magical resources I could to finish the ritual that I was trying to do to break all these enchantments. And I needed these 7 souls that are pure of heart to unbind these 7 layers of this enchantment that sorceress had placed on my beloved. And I had to basically pretend I'm dead, because that witch hid a piece of herself somewhere and isn't dead. And I can't finish it until I have all of her soul.
Okay, 1, your problems are not my problems. And 2, if any of those souls are my friend that went missing in that room back there, then I'm making you my problem. You hear that, you undead fuck?
More importantly, you've bound yourself to a love that's long past and run its course. Why would you do such a thing?
Because I needed to make sure we could be together in the afterlife.
The dead deserve their respect. You disgrace her very name by trying to keep her here longer than she deserves.
Also, what was her name? You keep mentioning some people. You never call him by name. Just, I want to help you. He lies.
Well, of course. Nur, my light, the light of my love. Sorry, Shama, the 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 flame that lit both our hearts. She is the one I am trying to break off the foul enchantments that the sorceress cast upon my beloved.
And who's this sorceress?
I will not mention her name. She does not deserve to be remembered.
But, knowing magic as I do, the caster is imperative to breaking the spell. If we're here to help you, you should tell us her name.
Fine, you have a point. She is as her name is the complete opposite of her nature. For she is nothing but darkness and the void. Nur. And spits on the ground.
I'm going to be honest, I don't very much have much respect for people who don't. I don't have much respect for your word. For someone pretending to be dead, saying they had to pretend to be dead, you are already dead. That much is certain. And
I've only delayed my life. As soon as I'm able to break this enchantment, I too shall depart from this world.
Saudi just leans back to Faria and she's like, wait, he's dead?
He's very dead. She just leans back. He's very dead. He's very, very dead.
Oh.
he probably doesn't look as cute if he drops whatever form he's holding right now, because I don't think this is how he looks.
She just cocks her head and looks at him.
Also, I don't take any... For this enchantment to work, it should be given willingly. And nobody over here who was pure of heart ever gave themselves up unwillingly.
Says you.
So, just kind of like metagame here. So, with my eye for detail, or I guess maybe ear for detail, Noor, does that name ring any bells? Maybe in any kind of stuff we read? I also don't remember if we read anything in the Tyr's journal that he currently has in his possession inside a tomb.
The names were not written in them. They were just simply in reference to like sister or prince or brother-in-law. Like there were no names actually given.
Okay.
However, I will say with your eye for detail, although that's more of a numeracy, but for the sake of this thing, the details seem awfully similar.
Mm-hmm.
Except, if you recall, the prince was actually the not so nice person. And the sister was the sister who was an accomplished mage was actually trying to counter whatever the prince was trying to do.
Mm-hmm. So Umar kind of like the gears churn, and you can hear like the rusts break away from them. And he asks, he says, so it sounds like, well, let's see if I can do this. I'm big dumb in real life. So he says, it sounds like you're a mage of some extreme power to have constructed this temple and to have started this ritual. All the mechanics of it seem very complex. Can you tell me more about your love and what your relationship was? Maybe that's a key to this.
Are you trying to stall for time, or are you actually like genuinely curious?
There's something he's saying that's kind of like wrong, and we're like, he's like picking away at it. He's like, there's something wrong here. I just can't figure it out.
Okay, give me a persuasion check.
Umar is great at that.
Okay. Yeah. Sort of looks at you and he says, I suppose I've waited this long. I can wait a little longer. And at this point, you notice he's just glancing a little towards the tomb, just a little. And everybody give me perception checks. Except for Tyr.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Hey!
Wow, y'all are rolling great.
Oh, hey.
You definitely hear, like, the minute gives a sort of like slight glance, is the precise moment Tyr sort of is like, oof, like bangs the funny boat, and you hear a little like, ow. But it's a very muffled, like imagine someone doing that in like a solid marble sarcophagus.
It's just a long, low, solid, oh.
But all of your perceptive ears catch that. And even Chandra is sort of like looking in that direction and oddly. And anyways, so, and is now, you notice the prince is actually sort of like angling to kind of block all of you from the tomb.
As soon as I hear the noise, I'm like, oh, what is that? And I just start like walking towards and like.
Akara.
Akara's gonna nod, grab her mace, and just start running at it.
At who?
At the tomb.
Okay. So everybody just roll initiative. Yeah. And I'm just gonna write all of this down paper because I don't know how to do non-token initiatives.
No worries.
Oh, I don't think you can. I don't think it's possible.
Yeah, you need like, tokens.
You hear that? Roll 20. You tuning in?
What happened?
This is not going to be good for me. I am terrible at this. Oh, never mind.
Wow, look at
Apparently-
look.
I have
look at all
nothing
of us.
for initiative.
Just like,
Also, this is
let's go.
cute. Our numbers are all lining up. This is adorable.
Okay.
Yay.
All right. And I'm
G-Ra
just
theme
gonna
is like
roll.
playing.
I really wish I
Wow,
could have
I
gone
have-
before Akara, though, because I want to buff her. Buff the barbarian. Buff the barbarian.
She seems pretty buff as it is.
Make her more buff.
I'm
Okay,
okay with
so
that.
let me finish
Big strong.
writing that. Okay.
Drunk like ox.
Go from strong to strunk.
Yes,
Yes.
strong with the K.
Drunk like bear.
Strong like a bear.
And,
Shit.
okay. All right. So Thier, you go first. You basically, until you can break free of this, you're gonna be making a lot of strength checks.
Okay, that's fair. Can I use something real quick? I want to use Second Wind to gain back a D10 plus
Yes,
my
you may.
fighter level. Yeah.
So I believe that is a bonus. So you still have your
Fun.
action as
Roll
well.
the full thing.
Nice.
I'm doing okay.
You are still. Oh wait, I forgot you were exhausted. So you got to do those at disadvantage.
Oh, well, okay.
Wait, no, I thought
I
those were
wasn't gonna
ability
bring-
checks.
No, not the dice. Not the second wind. It's only D20.
Oh, yeah,
So-
sure.
So
No,
attacks,
but the strength
saving
check
throws.
would be at disadvantage.
Yeah.
Saving throw not at disadvantage.
Oh,
A
yeah.
check would be.
Yes.
It depends what Miriam asks you to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's ability checks. Well, let's just say ability checks for the time being. I know there's stuff. I'll look it up at some point, or if someone knows it, can tell me. But definitely, ability checks are at disadvantage. So
Exhaustion sucks when you're trying to break a grapple. It sucks.
yeah. So strength check with disadvantage.
Okay. Let's hope I don't bung this up. I bunged it up.
All right. What was it?
First roll's a 1. I'm just
Oh.
not having any luck in this game.
Yeah. So all of you hear another ow or whatever noise.
Oh.
It's like weird gurgling too. It's bad.
All right. So now we go to Akara.
Okay.
I will say you are currently so the tomb is in the center of the room. The prince is about 10 feet away from it, and you were all maybe about 30 feet away from it. So doing some napkin math, you're about 40 feet away.
Okay. So my speed is 30.
So you can get right up to the prince.
Okay. In that case, I want to go into a frenzied rage.
Okay, so that's as your bonus, correct?
He gonna die.
It says on turn entered rage, and I can go frenzied when raging.
Yep. That basically is a bonus action, I believe, rage.
Yeah.
So you still have your action.
Yeah. So I'm going to run up basically to the prince while screaming, "Tear!" And I'm going to just swing at the prince on my way.
All right. Roll an attack.
Okay.
A good old drive-by. I like it.
Yes. Drive-by whacking. Okay, how do I
Whack a prince.
let me it's been a very long time since I've used
Okay, so on your character sheet,
I'm smart. I see
okay,
my damage type.
Uh,
see.
Yeah, so if you're using your maul,
It's a
just
strength weapon, so
uh
do I roll? What do I do?
So if you go to your character sheet, you should have a list of your weapons. If you just
Yeah.
click on the weapons,
Oh, wait, there it is.
do a
Attack
ruler.
+4. Bleh.
yeah.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
And then I believe in chat, if you click on the hyperlink for the weapon in the chat, not on your character sheet, it should roll the damage for you.
Okay, I also have because of the rage, I have damage shown on the rage table.
It should be
Yeah, it's like a +3 or
plus
+2.
2. At this level, it's +2.
Yeah.
So
But yeah,
+2.
if you just click Maul in the chat beneath where you wrote, yeah.
Yeah. And if it doesn't include your...
Yeah, it does already include the rage from what I can tell.
Okay.
So you're
Okay.
good.
So you notice as you swipe, it does go and connect, but the wounds start to heal almost instantaneously, as if
Okay.
you did no damage.
Since I'm frenzied, I'm gonna hit again.
All right. And the prince is not even flinching, just sort of almost like presenting their body to you to smack. Yeah, it hits.
Okay.
Similarly, just this should probably cave someone's rib cage in with these attacks. It just instantaneously starts to. However, as you're really up close, you start to almost see when a holograph image is kind of like staticky and sort of glitching. You start to see in certain places nothing but bone.
Okay.
Like, this is definitely some sort of illusory face. Only you see it because you're right up against the sprints. Next is Sadi.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is a little bit of math here.
Okay.
Morgan's doing math, not study. So, so she's basically gonna be like eyeball it, and she's gonna pull out from a pouch a piece of mica and just crush it in her hands. And with that, it's gonna be past the point of where the tomb is, because as it puts spears, it's gonna hit the tomb and the dude without hitting Akara.
Okay.
It actually is gonna be on the tomb because it's sphere. Wait, no. Yeah, he's gonna be.
What are you trying to cast?
I'm casting Shatter.
Okay.
And I can post a description on it. How do I post this?
What level are you casting at?
It is at level 2.
You see him flick and counterspell what you're doing.
Rude.
Oh, what a boss! But also, I hate him.
But sorry. I just need to use a spell. I don't know how to use it. There we go.
Yeah.
That's how you use the spell. Sorry. However, it's also going to be on the item as well. It's also going to be on the tomb as well. Not as but you can never mind. You can't spell it completely. Yeah. So it doesn't even affect the tomb. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, like you go to cast it, and he just does, and your spell fizzles.
He's not cute anymore.
Yeah, and you notice now as you're it's almost like a glitch, sort of things are you're starting to see, instead of what should be a handsome face full of vigor and vitality, you see nothing but bone that is maybe 300-400 years old.
Ew.
And teeth.
So as that happens and it gets counterspells, all of a sudden, if anybody's looking at her, her eyes are just this glowing, bright blue with flickers of electricity through them.
Okay.
She angry.
Yep. Are you moving, or are you doing any bonus actions?
No. She was just trying to do that. No big deal.
All right. Fariha, it is now your turn.
Fariha will move closer, not within to be melee range, because we're about 40 feet away. So
yeah,
30.
Oh, 30 feet away from the prince.
And you're 30 feet. Okay, she's gonna move 20 feet closer.
Okay.
But she is going to use racial abilities, because this is why I love furbolgs.
Mm-hmm.
She has the ability to cast Detect Magic once per day, and she's because I imagine she's seeing the illusory. She's seeing that she's probably grown up seeing Akara beat the shit out of somebody before, or is
Yeah.
at least can tell from this point, can assume that should have broken something on his body.
Yep.
So she's just gonna like hold a staff. She's gonna put her hands together, and she'll see the same 4 elemental style pattern aura appear, but create sort of almost like a set of visors, like a visor over her eyes. And I'm just gonna have her scan, and she's just gonna scan the room to see if there's anything else in here that seems off in terms of a magic source. I just want to spend the turn just taking a look around.
Yeah, so definitely there is very strong magic just for this round, because I think you have to concentrate a little more to then get schools. Am I correct?
I don't actually have detect magic. I will look it up on my turn. But
okay, yeah, okay. So you definitely very strong auras on the prince. The tomb is not actually, there's no aura on it per se. It's the twinkling lights that are like huge blips of magic, almost like blinding. I'm not going to actually blind you, but it's like that's how strong it is. And definitely the bird on and the azure blue perch that is there, those are also very strong magic.
So everything around the tomb, not the tomb itself, the bird and the prince,
yes,
emanating magic. I will just call out to everyone else. The bird and everything around the tomb, this entire place is just soaking in magic, but I don't think we should focus him. Something else in this room is up. And that's all she can do with what she has for the turn.
Okay. And then Umar, it is now your turn.
Oh boy, a lot of stuff happening. Umar yells out, Akara, I think it's Tyr in there. And even before he finishes his sentence, he's wild shaping himself into a parakeet, into a bird, same as the one that's over.
Okay.
And he's flying to it. And
you hear the prince go, no, get away. Continue.
So I get to choose what actually like becomes part of me and what doesn't.
As you say, it melds with you, but yeah, you can have a little bit of leeway on what you meld with you, as long as it's something a tiny bird can support.
How heavy is that amulet I'm carrying?
It's not particularly heavy. It's maybe like I'll say like a couple of grams. It's pretty big though for a bird, but I'll say a bird could probably have that.
Yeah, I'll take like the dash action or something like, and really struggle to get that amulet, but I want that amulet to be seen, right? I want it to be like not part of my body. And I'll settle close within like squawking distance of the parakeet, chirping, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'll say something is wrong, and I think you can help us.
You're saying that, I guess, in
parakeet.
In parakeet, yeah. I will say, since it is now everyone else's turn, unless there's anything else you wanted to do.
I'm going to like get information on like how we can like defeat this horrible undead monster.
You notice straight up as you settle on the birch feels really like, it doesn't feel good. It feels like it feels really unnatural. It's solid. It's a physical object. And you notice now the bird that's sitting there is almost like a puppet of sorts. You notice that there's a little blue ring around the bird's foot, and it's attached to this birch. And it's just ignoring you completely, and is just chirping the same tune, almost like an autopilot, and just swinging like do 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 do, and doesn't seem to recognize you or interact with you whatsoever.
Okay, I think that's good for my turn.
And the prince now is like, get away from her, and ignores all of you that are starting to crowd and points straight at you, Omar, and a bolt of fire goes towards you. Please, I think that will be an attack roll. What is your AC as a bird? I will say probably like take
I think there's a like an eagle or something we could probably use to like.
Yeah, just like the whatever bird stat you have, just pull the AC for
Let's use.
that.
I think eagle is like close to that.
Equals 12.
Okay. So
Poor bird. You're gonna get roasted.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And you see the prince is slightly distracted and trying to aim for you, because with that still misses, like even with their it still misses, and it's like almost you get the sense almost trying very cautiously to hit you and only you. And somehow it just bounces wide.
Do the rest of us see this?
You can give me insight checks.
Okay.
And then we'll...
Damn it.
Hey.
I'm good in insight too.
Sadi, you notice that they're so distracted that they are trying to make sure they don't hit the other bird.
Okay.
And now top of the round, Thier, give me another strength check.
I'll try my best. Just wait when I get out of here. Then oh, that's not as bad. How does a 12 treat me?
12 is just enough. You start to hear a crack, like, you know, a shell, like a baby bird's about to get out. You're not quite out yet because you spend your entire turn making that crack.
Mm-hmm.
Describe to me how you do that.
It's just very much like a Bruce Lee 1-inch punch. Just pat. Yeah. Just very much trying to get out of there with sheer stubborn determination, I feel. Maybe bringing up the knees a bit.
So next turn you'll be able to clear it, but now you've actually cracked a hole, and you see like some.
My eye is through the hole, and I'm like, guys,
yeah,
aim for the bird.
Actually, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's your turn, Akara. What are you doing?
Okay, so I don't have to, because that's happened. I'm pretty sure Tyr will be able to get out after that. That's probably fine. So Akara's glance back at the prince and say, "Hey, eyes on me!" and swing again.
Yeah.
Still frenzied raging.
Yep.
Okay. Haha.
Yep. It connects.
And
yep.
Second hit.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Nice.
Holy crap.
You're pretty sure folks that you've hit that have taken so much bruising and beating should basically be dead right now, or dead again. But every time you hit, just literally doesn't flinch, allows you to take like mid torso. You should be like getting into like heart right now, or like spine, and like just heals immediately up almost as soon as your maul moves away, sort of a thing. It's very confusing and alarming.
This is professionally upsetting.
Pissed off the professionally angry tiefling. This is a bad thing to do.
Sadi, it is now your turn.
Okay, question. How far away is the parakeet from us?
Okay, so I'm gonna do again some napkin math. About, I'm gonna say 30 feet from the dais. So if you haven't moved, that's 40 and 30, and doing a triangle. I'd say probably something like about 45-ish feet.
All right.
Umar pipes up. That's a 3, 4, 5 triangle. If you use the Pythagorean theorem.
Yeah, it sounds like chirp, 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 chirp.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone else at that moment is just like, not now. Not.
I'm just screaming, aim for the bird! I don't care about the math!
So 50 feet for the purposes of rain.
Okay, perfect. Umar, I'm so sorry. And so she kind of the Micah and she like crushes it again and looks at the bird. And she's gonna actually sort of aim it just a little past the bird, so when it expands,
Counterspell.
Yeah.
You notice anytime you try, it's almost at this point, I'm gonna say, you notice with that insight especially, the prince is not doing anything to protect himself, but doing everything to protect the bird. And which is why it's like not even attacking all of you and going straight for Umar.
he used his reaction. Do it again. Right now.
Yeah, so are you doing anything else for your turn?
No.
Okay, Fariha, it is your turn.
She is going to like hold the quarterstaff that she has, that I'm using as her own substitute for a maul, because she wouldn't use a maul. She's gonna like slam it down the ground, and she's just gonna call out to the prince and say, if you can deal with that maul, let's see how you deal with this one. She puts her hands, like arranges it out, and she creates a spiritual, like multicolored, like red, blue, gray, and brown maul designed exactly like a Kara's, right where the bird is, and makes a spiritual weapon.
Yes.
And he's like, no.
I don't know if that's gonna hit though.
It's
a 12.
I mean, if the eagle AC is a 12, I don't know.
That actually is going to miss though, because this bird's a little hardy, but let's see.
Also is going to, with like her right hand, she calls out for the maul to swing at it. So it rolled a 12. I don't think that's gonna hit.
Yeah, no. So I'm gonna roll the dexterity save now. No, that's a fail, even with bonuses. So describe to me how you burn a bird. Literally has 1 hit point.
Oh my god, I feel bad for this, but she looks at Akara, sort of. She looks at Umar, impossible danger from the firebolt that he just missed at, but she knows it's going to happen again. She looks at Akara. She takes inspiration from both of them. She tries to swing the mace when it does the maul when it doesn't work. She conjures sort of a nice little like sphere of red, brown, blue, and gray, and erupts it into a mass of swirling feathers styled exactly like Umar's parakeet, and fires it at the bird to engulf it and swallow it up.
And as that happens, it's like literally you start seeing the prince start to burn up, as if whatever was happening to the bird is also happening to him. And he just goes up in flames. And you start to see his true visage of nothing but bone, as he was nothing but he was a lich, essentially. Right. And the screams fill the air as turns quickly into, from, like a healthy prince that was in the prime of his youth, to bone, to dust, and just settles into dust. And simultaneously, the bird just burns and sort of falls down, hanging from the blue chain attached. And then as the prince burns, everything that was blue aura falls, and the bird falls to the ground, also turning into ash. And that's where we're gonna take a break.
Also, we just got raided.
Yeah.
Did.
Hey, Carbuncle.
Raid.
Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for the raid, Carbuncle or Carrybuckle. We're just taking a short break. We'll be back in under
About 10
minutes.
minutes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sweet.
wave awkwardly in the camera.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, it's your favorite producer, Leona. Hope you're enjoying the first half of today's episode of Vibrant Visible Victorious. Thank you to Carbuncle for rating, and thank you to RWA Hunter for joining the party, and so much more. All right, so I hope everyone's having a good time. Let's talk about our Patreon supporters. Thank you to Swordsfall, Jen K, M. Dobson, Creative Diva, Gemma, GMTDM, Daniel S., Bria, Britt Knowles, Book Zombie, Fox Barrett, Hansi, Jaxie, Michelle A, Shuri A, Celts, Me in Midair by Sonic Kevin, Mets Girl, Media Junkie, Michael Wayne, Leona, that's me, Flamby, Christy S, Thanran, Silani, Nerdy Teddy Bear, The Bardic Knock, Wild Engineer, Zan, Droopy, Nina D, Wavenswing, Shauna, Starsaber, Miss Misery, and Ended K. Thank you again to all of our Patreon supporters for making it possible for us to bring you some of the best content on the internet, and I hope you're enjoying Vibrant Visible Victorious, your one and only BIMPOC one-shot series. Stick around for the second half of The Temple of Qauz-e-Qazah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back from the break, and also welcome to our AWA Hunter for joining the party. Welcome.
Hello, welcome.
When we last left our party of school, childhood friends or more, who knows? We'll see what happens. The night is still young, somewhat. You had just finished making some roasted parakeet.
Divinely roasted parakeet, I might add.
And you will say you're out of you're out of combat for the time being. However, you are not yet. You do not have a moment of rest yet. As the lich basically turns into ash and the parakeet basically dies, is hanging for a moment and then drops to the ground and falls like a dead bird, just belly up. You see, I think Sadi and Umar both had pendants on.
Yep.
They start glowing very brightly now, almost like they're trying to get out of whatever crystalline cage they're in.
Sadi just freaks out and just like takes it off. She's like, and just drops it.
As you drop it, it cracks really easily. You've dropped it a few times before, like just like, oh, oops, and it's just bounced and it's fine. But now at this point, rather than sort of bouncing, it actually shatters. And which pendant did you have, Sadi? Did you have?
I had the one that our teacher had. So
okay, so it was the orange color one.
Yeah, that one.
As it breaks open, you see it almost split into two beams: a reddish colored one and almost yellowish color, this color of sunlight, break apart.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Omar, what are you doing as a bird?
Does it get any heavier or anything like that?
It gets really heavy. It's like almost like you're being pulled down as a teeny little bird.
Okay, so I'm gonna lose this transformation very, very soon as I kind of like careen towards the ground. So one thing on the break, I looked up wild shape. Turns out you can't select what clothes come with you. Either they all do or they don't. So,
it's a magic item. We're just gonna.
Yeah, so all my clothes are just like 30 feet away from me. So I guess I careen down to the floor. I'm gonna drop the wild shape so I have opposable thumbs again.
Yep.
Good.
You're wearing nothing but the amulet.
Yeah, cool.
And a smile.
Yeah. He strikes
smile.
He strikes a pose.
Sadi freaks out her fan and starts like.
But joking aside, this amulet is very, very hot, and he takes it off and he starts examining it.
It is glowing like it's trying to escape its crystalline cage, and it is getting heavier and hotter, almost like the start of, I'm gonna get the term wrong, but almost like the start of like a nova.
Oh.
Like it's going to shatter if it's not shattered earlier or whatever. Like it's just getting hotter and heavier.
So Umar calls out, Akara, get Tyr out. Maybe he knows something about this, as he's like trying to keep it like together, and I don't know.
All right.
Sadi basically is like, no, look, and she points at the one she dropped, and it's actually like doing the color thing.
Can Tyr see the red light?
Yeah, I'm gonna say like you have the 6 seconds to clear yourself out. If combat was still occurring, you would have basically busted out and had like an action.
Mm-hmm.
So you were able to act.
Okay. Well, I mean, he's very much mentally connecting dots now that he's seeing like red. And he's like, oh, I get it. And he just goes, drop the amulet, and just kind of reaches out, and also looks away. Just drop it.
Umar stands up, drops the amulet, and kind of backs away towards his clothing.
Yeah. So as it breaks, the red meets red and forms one coalesced form. And from the bird, a green aura escapes. And you see a green spectral form and a red spectral form.
At this, he's gonna kind of brush back his coif of hair. He's got a little bit more white in it now.
Oh, you've been traumatized. Oh,
poor baby.
And okay, so I actually have to pull the stuff. As life slips away from the small green bird, a green aura escapes, forming the spectral form of a young, beautiful woman who basically looks exactly like the woman in all depictions of the lovers. And the red spectral form takes an image of the young, the slightly older form of the second girl that you saw in images as you were traversing the different rooms, and you figured that they both must be the sisters that you saw. And they both start to embrace each other, like finally we've met. Like it's been so long since we haven't seen each other, and they're sobbing in relief as they're hugging each other. And the red form looks at you and looks at Tyr and looks at all of you and says, "Thank you. Thank you for bringing us together again." And they both start to fade away into mist. At this point, the yellow sort of aura that escaped from the amulet starts to take form of a very familiar person you know. Your Nithya. And
Come on.
She looks at all of you and she says, "Thank you for finishing this one last thing I couldn't do."
Since it's a yellow beam and it's like right there,
it's the color of sunlight, of like warm sunlight of dawn.
Sadi's gonna try to give her a hug. If sort of like a hug. If it's
you for a moment you feel like you actually connect to a body, but it's a moment and it starts fading away.
I think Tyr's gonna come in and hug Sadi as well.
Umar goes in and he tries to hug Vidya too and hugs the rest of them instead.
Yeah, like you all have a moment where you feel like you've touched her again, if you're all trying to get in for the hug, and then it slowly sort of dissipates all over you.
Yeah. Fariha is staying somewhat away from the group, but just sort of going by the altar and making sure, like wherever the spirit is going to be heading off, if it's just disappearing where it's at, that she's like standing respectfully in front of it and just like muttering in primordial to just like burial rites, just like, "You've had your time." And there's like very slight tears at the edges of her eyes, but it's very much like she's trying to play it off in her mind, I imagine, as like, this is what you do, this is what has to be done. But she's everyone can see through it. She's kind of broken by it, but it's very sad goodbye for her to do it.
Akara's gonna look over, kind of tug Fariha over and try to pull her into the group hug.
Just very much kind of.
She comes. I think she would initially try and resist, and then she realizes who's pulling her, and she gives in immediately because she's like, I have a strength of 10. I'm not going to beat your strength.
Umar makes sure that Fariha, when she like looks at the group, like makes eye contact, and like it's a wanted kind of joining of everyone.
She'll respond. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, family moment.
Aw. So you realize there's not quite a way to exit this chamber, as the path you've been the path you've been led on has been fairly one way. And you can certainly maybe go back to the altar room, but you're not quite sure where to go from the altar room. However, you notice towards one end, now that you're no longer in danger and combat is no longer a thing, that there's a small area that looks like a study and a lab that you can explore.
Umar will be the first to break away. Just kind of like it was a nice moment, and he says, "No, we have work to do," and he breaks away almost like in a cold fashion, and he finds that door and he just goes into it. Let's figure out what's going on.
Okay. What do you go look at?
So is it an open door?
It's not. It's basically a space. Like there's no doors or marking off a space. It's like an open cavern, and towards one end, because it's such a 200 feet by 200 feet sort of a space, towards one end where you're not distracted by the prince and the tomb and everything that was going on, you would have eventually noticed it. And now you are. It's like furthest back from where you entered. And it's simply essentially like tables with what looks to be some sort of a chair for like a writing apparatus, like a desk, and then what looks to be some sort of magical alchemical apparatus.
Yeah.
And a chest.
So Umar starts with the written notes. That will be where he gets the most information from.
Okay. So you see there is a journal, which is also a spell book of some kind. And it sort of follows the similar story to what was in the old journal that Tyr had. And however, this is from the prince's POV. So after the prince got wind of the fact that Nur, and he actually uses words like Nur, Shama, him, and refers to himself, that Nur found out what he was trying to do in trying to create a ritual that would rewrite memory and bind souls so that he could never lose Shama, and basically rewrite Nur completely out, literally change the world such that Nur never existed and the lovers are always Parwana and Shama. And Nur found out, and he had to do the ritual faster than he would have liked before everything was in place. And as he was basically sapping the life out of Nur, Shama caught him in the middle of it, and she was distraught, and he tried to explain to her why he did that, but it only made her more, he doesn't understand why it made her more grief-stricken, that she said, if you do this, I'll make sure you never have me, and she stabbed herself in the heart so that he could never have her. However, at that point, he had to save her life by transferring her soul into Shama's favorite singing bird, and then bound it with a sliver of his life so that she would remain safe in there, and then realized that when he finished siphoning Noor's soul, that it wasn't all of her soul, and his ritual couldn't work without it. And now he built this temple to harvest enough pure hearts of a lover to make up for that lack. And in addition to, that's sort of all what the journal says. In addition, the book itself is a wizard's spell book of a 10th level caster. So if someone was a wizard in the party, they could actually get spells from it.
I think at this point, Tyr is actually going to kind of stand in the doorway and say, "There's no ruling love. It is an uncontrollable fire that cannot be started at one's whim nor extinguished on one's wish." Just arms crossed, leaning in the doorway.
Is that supposed to mean something to me?
It's what I heard when I was somewhere else.
I say it one more time. One more time. What is it?
There is no ruling love. It is an uncontrollable fire that cannot be started on one's whim, nor extinguished on one's wish.
Let's get everyone in here.
Tyr's gonna kind of lean away so more people could actually fit in a door.
There's no door per se. It's literally just open cavern and desks.
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
Tyr is still big cat man.
Big cat.
Yeah.
Big kitty.
Big cat.
And the roof is literally starting off on the edges, like about 20-30 feet wide, and
not that big.
and towards the top of, like, you're basically at the peak of the mountain, or inside the peak of the mountain, and there's basically a skylight about 200 feet at the center up, where natural sunlight's coming in.
Well, we have a way out now.
So Umar is open about kind of what's inside the book, the journal itself, and to punctuate kind of the points, he draws in names and actions and feelings and thoughts, like on paper, that he's just kind of carrying around because he's a scholar like that. And it's very reminiscent of like how Vidya used to like give us history lessons, because history was all about people and places and feelings and what have you. And he expresses kind of the turmoil that was happening and how the parakeet was involved and the pain and the suffering. And he gives it all raw, that it is what it is. And then he exposes that the rest is a spell book. It's a powerful spell book.
In addition, you find a hat. That was actually near the ash. You find a hat and a medallion. In addition, there is also a scroll, a spell scroll.
Do we recognize what the spell written on the scroll is?
Yeah, it is a scroll of fly.
So I feel like the people who were in combat with the Lich, the prince, would have like seen the hat and the scroll first, right?
No, the hat and the medallion. The scroll is on the desk with the journal.
Okay.
And there's also a very ornate trunk that has like a lot of gold and gem work on it. You haven't examined it yet, so if you do examine it, I'll tell you what's in it, but there's also that.
Sure, I'll take a look at that.
Yeah, so it's probably solid gold, like it's like with proper gold and everything, and the trunk itself might be worth about 200 gold pieces. And as you open it, there's maybe a couple of trinkets and ornaments, and you suspect they might have been Shama's jewelry, like bridal jewelry. And they're worth maybe about 300 gold pieces, and you find a beautiful wedding gown of red and gold in it as well.
Does Akara like hide this or anything, or just kind of like, this is what's there?
No, I'm pulling it out and
could I use my eye for detail to quickly like estimate kind of what we're looking at here from monetary wise?
Yeah, all the gold jewelry in it is definitely worth 300 gold pieces. The chest itself is worth like 200 gold pieces easy. And the red and gold, even though it's a couple of centuries out of date, it's still really gorgeous and well preserved. Would probably fit someone who would be a human woman of like average height and average build. And that and the trousseau, like the wedding gown and the veil and all the bits and pieces, probably also worth maybe 100 gold pieces.
Out of character, what size is Sadi, by the way? Is she average build?
I think Sadi's a little tall. Let me pull up her stuff real quick.
Probably not as tall as a Furbolg. Furbolg's like 7 feet tall.
She's 5'11",
So-
and she's like 180, so she's pretty slim.
Yeah.
It might fit you, might be a little on the short, like it might look like floodwaters on the skirt, but it might fit you barely.
Yeah, actually, when you really like look at the dress, you look at Sadi. Sadi's still not in the room. She's actually where she sort of like the group hug was, and she's still sort of staring at the broken pieces, and she's just like lost in her own brain space.
Sadi, are you okay?
I just wasn't ready to say goodbye. I mean, I knew it. That's why we're here, but seeing her again like that, it was just. I'll be fine. Don't worry about me.
I always worry about you. It's my
And
job.
as you're looking at her, you know her eyes are usually like that bright, vibrant blue. They're actually like more of a darker, deeper blue right now.
It's my job to worry about you, Sadi. It's my job to worry about all of you.
I know, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
The dead have their own space. That is why it's for them and not us. They deserve their own time and peace.
Yeah, you're right.
It was good this year, though.
Yeah. And she's gonna just slowly start going with the group.
Yeah, and probably when Furiha gets into the room, if she sees the dress, like, because no one's hiding it, obviously, she's like, she'll probably walk up to it and she'll like maybe feel it for a second, and then she'll turn to look in the direction of Akara and stare for probably a beat too long, and then look towards Sadi. Like she's blushing while she's looking at Akara, but then she just immediately turns over to look at Sadi. Would you like a dress?
I don't know if they'll fit me, but I mean, I always love dresses, so like, you know, I'll take it. Yeah, sure.
All of you are dealing with the consequences of what happened, that it takes a while before you notice a rather frozen in a WTF sort of a face of Janger, just like staring at everything from the side.
I was wondering when you would bring that up.
I forgot about him.
And just sort of like pointing, and then just sort of like mouth agape at everything that happened. I mean, everything that happened maybe was like about 10 minutes in real time, like in game time, and just was like, and you now hear like almost like a tire leak, sort of a.
Oh, come now. You haven't seen a dead woman before. Or a dead man before.
No, but this was all a lie.
Obviously.
What? First time you had your attempted souls being stolen from you?
We passed by many skeletons to get here. I'm just going to point that out.
No, but I thought if
they were decoration.
Miriam is laughing uncontrollably, but Janger is got this shell shock look of I all of this for nothing sort of a face.
Akara's gonna sigh. Go up to Janger. Yes, it was a lie. You still came, and that's not nothing. I'm sure she'll appreciate your devotion. We can vouch for you.
Okay, but how do we get out of here?
Ugh.
At this point, I'm just looking at my bow and an arrow, and I'm like, I'm sure I have a rope somewhere.
I guess we can go back the way we came in. This is Akara in character.
Yeah.
And Janger sort of also going like, but
Can I see that little paper that's on the desk? Can someone hand me that? I want to look at the thingy.
This? You mean the scroll of fly?
Yeah, give me.
Of course. Anything for you, Sadi.
Oh, thank you.
And as he does, he looks at Akara and just kind of like looks up and then back at Akara and is up again at that hole in the ceiling and back at Akara.
As a sorcerer, can I use a scroll? Like, is it?
yeah.
All right. And how does fly work? Do I cast it on like everybody or like?
Okay. So the way this scrolls generally work is that if it is something that you can cast on your caster list, then you can just use it without any sort of a check. If it is higher than your current spell level, then you have to make a caster check to see if it works.
Oh boy.
And if it is not in your spell list, then you can't just use it. And then there are certain classes that overcome it in various ways. However, this particular spell, because plot armor, if you use
Love
it,
you, Mariam.
if you use it, will probably is at a much higher level, which should allow you to cast it on you and everyone in this room.
Well, I don't have fly is a cleric. Oh wait, I'm not a cleric. I'm a sorcerer.
You're a
You're
sorcerer.
a sorcerer. Which
I'm so
means
used to playing
you.
clerics. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry.
Also,
same.
for whatever reason, this spell scroll, you can just cast it with no problems, and it's at a higher spell slot, so it just works without needing to use it.
Oh, I can't cast it.
However, the fly only lasts. You still have to follow the rules of the spell itself, which is it only lasts for an hour, and if anything breaks your concentration, everyone goes down.
Okay. Well, I gotta focus.
Yeah, I was about to say, wait, we're giving the person who occasionally has trouble focusing the responsibility of casting fly? I don't want to judge. I'm just saying, in character.
I'm
Out of
tying.
character, I trust Morgan. In character.
I am tying a rope to an arrow just in case.
I can focus when I need to. Gosh.
You can do this, buddy.
Sadi can focus when she needs to. Otherwise,
Of
we
course.
commit to our death.
However, if you want to cast it right now, you can certainly cast it right now, or you can finish whatever RP is going on and then cast
She's like,
it.
as they're arguing about her casting it, she just like cast it.
Oh, well, so like Willy Wonka, just kind of like, oh.
Just cling onto the trunk.
It's like, nope, I want the money first.
You have complete control over your fly once it's cast. It's not like you start floating and are unable to come down.
Oh.
Right, it's not like
I broke gravity for everybody. Everybody's floating. Everyone okay.
I still like to imagine the
Suddenly we're
suddenness.
gonna
It takes us a second to realize that, though.
Yeah.
It-
So
it-
you
it's
have an hour before you need to be worried about leaving this room.
Can Akara pick up the chest completely by herself?
What is your strength score?
My strength score is
14, I think.
15, but I currently have a point of exhaustion
From previous.
from Frenzied Rage.
Yeah. Okay. It's fine because the chest itself weighs a total with the contents in it, weighs about 100 pounds, and I'm like, yeah, you can easily carry it.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm
It's
buff.
a trunk. It's a trunk of. It's basically a bridal trousseau trunk that was lovingly kept.
Obsessively kept is a little more accurate.
Yeah.
Wow.
You notice there's no dust on it. It is perfectly polished and shiny for a mundane object.
Yeah,
And
that's
the
not
clothes
creepy
are
at all.
and the clothes and the jewelry are all perfect. Not a speck of dust on any of it.
That's creepy.
Yeah, I think this is the one moment where Fariha will like put her hand to her head and just turn over to Umar's direction and be like, use arcane magic. Wait, what? Who uses arcane magic? How many times would he have to be casting prestidigitation for this to be this clean for 300 years?
Umar calculates it and gives an exact number back to Furia.
This is probably the one moment in all of your lives where you see her just have a look of like, what the fuck is your deal? But she quickly, she tries to get rid of it right after she realizes she has the face, but everyone has seen it at that point. But it's like a clearly like...
Uh-huh.
Sadi's not paying attention to anybody. She's basically doing like backflips in the air and like doing like the swimming.
Akara looks at the trousseau, holds it out a little, thinks about how much it's worth, pulls it back in.
Tyr just looks entirely ungraceful in the air, just like someone picked up a cat from under the arms.
Oh,
Just long cats.
Okay, so Janjar also is like, oh, this is new sensation, and actually throws up.
Oh.
That still affected by gravity, by the way, not like...
Bad luck.
I think it's fair to say that right now, this is the least impressed with them Akara has ever looked. The shine has well worn off at this point.
Well, to their credit, they basically one-handed went through this temple.
Yeah, I know. But
Died
Akara is
for nothing in their mind.
Akara is coming off of the adrenaline high of beating up a lich, sort of, and getting money, and then the feelings.
Okay. Does anybody take the hat or the medallion with them?
I'll take the hat.
And take the medallion.
Okay. So if there's anything else you wanted to do before you flew away, we will.
As I fly by, there's a laboratory here, right? You said?
Yeah.
Okay. Akara is just gonna fly in there with her mace out, just everything in
glass is shattering, liquids are flowing. They're starting to make little acid burns on the desk.
Are you just doing an arcane equivalent of someone going by in a car with a baseball bat knocking over mailboxes, but in a laboratory with a mall?
Panama! And just like...
Oh. This is what I live for. I love this game.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and are you taking the spell book and with the journal?
Umar takes the spell book and the journal.
Okay. So you fly to the skylight, and there's a very thin layer of glass, but you could easily crash, break it and go through with your maul, especially, which I imagine you take great pleasure in doing so.
Actually, Sadi's the one that gets there first, and she puts a hand out, and she just does grasping, electrical, shocking grasp on it.
Yep.
You just spark electricity, just cover the glass, and it just shatters.
Yep.
While we're below it?
Watch out!
I'm gonna say it's you can take 1 point of damage if you so choose, but you're gonna have a long rest, so it doesn't really matter. And you all escape out, and as you escape out, you realize the day is slowly coming to a close. It's almost sunset, and you're not sure that fly will last long enough for you to get to town immediately, as it was almost an entire day's journey. And you can choose to sort of push on as much as you want and then touch ground when the spell, when you're about 5 minutes out, or you could just camp where you were at the start of the mountain pass.
I'd like to think we stopped at the start of the mountain pass, probably.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so
as you all set down, you notice that the archway that is there has now been caved in, and it is impossible to go back into the temple. And the interesting part is that the section that had the man playing the flute is the one that basically crumbled and smashed in, and the one of the woman on the swing is still intact. And we now cut to the start of the session where you were all by the fire, and the camera pans out a little, and you see Chandra mostly shell-shocked, just sitting there staring.
Tyr's gonna look up from his journal and go, "You know, when I was younger, I wanted to be a wizard. But my family, they are fighters."
You think this will help you? And Umar kind of unceremoniously throws in this ancient artifact of a 10th level spell casting wizard towards Tyr.
And he catches it and goes, "I think it's time that I make my own choices."
I think a lot of us had things we wanted when we were younger. Some of them are worth following up on, it seems.
Umar says, "I kind of love how you're everyone's mom all the time."
that one looks like a bunny. She's just still staring.
Umar
That's
Love
laughs.
Sadi.
pull a Kara out of her. Wait, what?
She's like,
Umar
look, and she's like pointing
Just
out.
like laughs so much, just like bellows, like just like everything comes out in a laugh.
Sure enough, it looks like, sort of like it's a fluffy, it looks a little like a bunny, like except one ear's a little floppy, the other one's kind of standing up.
Look, a little flop. Oh.
You're right. You're absolutely right. It's a bunny.
What were y'all talking about?
It's been an interesting
Rabbits.
few days. Also rabbits.
I mean, I also brought the bunny. I was just wondering what y'all were talking about, but okay. And she sort of just like rolls over and sits up and just like, so where's everybody going now?
Not home. Not yet.
I thought it was pretty clear. I'm leaving. I told you, one and done. This was Vidia's last request.
Then where are you leading to?
Back to the academy. I got research to do. I have a job. I gotta hold up to it. This was fun, but I got a life. I grew up.
Sadi's just gonna like scoot over and just like sit next to Umar and just like do like one of those head things and just like rest her head on his shoulder and just like, I know, just stay while you're here, just a little bit longer. One more day. Why is there a goat in the background? I keep hearing a goat somewhere.
You hear a goat in the far distance.
Oh my god.
And you hear like the sound of rocks falling as it's trying to navigate.
Yeah. Umar kind of like puts a hand around Sadi and kind of like brings her into a hug and says, "One day couldn't hurt, right?"
Of course not.
I'm sure you are capable enough in your calculations to know exactly how to make up for any losses you have for taking one more day.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I know exactly to the 1000th decimal how to make it up. But
Only the 1000th decimal. It seems like you're slacking today.
I'm getting rusty in my old age. So Umar looks to Tyr and says, "What about that book? What do you think? You made it pretty clear that you don't want it, but
I never said that. What I said was I've got choices to make and thinking to do, and maybe being around you you guys will help me make smarter ones.
Well, smart's kind of my shtick, isn't it?"
Yeah, that it is. And he kind of sighs and says, "Sometimes it feels like you were the only people who ever looked out for me.
Well,
What harm would one more day do?"
yeah. I mean, this is my home. I don't really have anywhere else to go.
At that, Tyr's gonna lean over and whisper into Sadi's ear, "Neither do I."
At some point in the night, Chandra sort of shakes themselves out of stupor and walks up to Akara and says, "Kara, do you have a
Hey.
moment?"
Yeah. How are you feeling?
Sort of eyes everyone and says, "Could we maybe talk?"
Yeah, just a second. And I guess scoot a little away from everyone.
I'm sorry about how I behaved in there. I didn't mean to be so callous. I thought this was my one shot at a life with someone I care about, and I really did not want to mess that up. I messed up once, and I should have looked. I should have searched, but I didn't.
It's not your fault. I could have stayed. I could have done a lot of things differently, and I didn't. And it's not. You went in there expecting something, and I can't blame you for reacting how you did when that didn't happen, back then or earlier. You deserve a good life.
Chandra just meets your eyes with a very intense gaze and says, "Is it too late?"
I don't think I'm the same person that I used to be back then. And I don't think I could give you what you deserve. I'm glad that we got you out of there in one piece. I'm glad that you made it out. But I think you should I think that if
they lean in and are basically about to kiss you to sort of see if there's anything. Do you
I return the kiss, but then pull back. And sorry. I think I could only give you pain. And I think that I think you deserve differently than that.
They look at you and they understand and they nod. And with your player consent, sort of kiss you on the forehead, like a goodbye, like,
Yeah.
thank you for helping me.
I'm glad that I could.
I will always remember you.
It was good while it lasted, wasn't it?
It was. Maybe another lifetime.
Maybe. I wish you only the best.
Me too. And walks away back to the campfire and sort of keeps their distance for the rest of the night.
Kara's gonna stay by herself for a second. Deep breath. Walk back to the rest and sit back down. And
Umar stops his conversation suddenly. So as soon as he figures out a car is within earshot, you can kind of get it to like the meter there, because metric is the best way to calculate distance. And he stops whatever he's saying and he says, and it reminds me, the one time I was we were kids, I know, and I remember I had my abacus out and I was calculating something stupid. I think I was counting how many monarch or how many butterflies were passing by given an hour, because I wanted to see if it changed throughout the seasons and the rate that it changed, so I could figure it doesn't matter. And I remember some other kids came up and abacus isn't the coolest thing. It's not the coolest thing you can actually play around with. And they wanted to take it from me. They wanted to break it. And it hurt a lot. It hurt both like me as they took my abacus and smashed it to bits, and then they hurt me physically. And I remember Akara came up to me and she's so strong and she's so brave and she cares so deeply about everyone, and she even hit them. She didn't. She actually just stood there, and they knew. I don't know what it was. I don't know how she did it, but she stood there and she looked at them like, I care a lot. And they knew that if they pushed it, they would be in for a world of hurt. And I just never forgot that. And it just, yeah, I never forgot that. You know what I mean? And he doesn't make eye contact with Akara. He just lets the words hang in the air.
Oh, the abacus was the beady thing that you're playing with, right? All the time?
Yep. They're beads.
That's right.
That's in character.
Yeah.
So Faria, where are you going after this?
I'm not sure. I have spent most of my life after leaving this place training and tending to the dead. Much of my life has been up to this point, to caring for the dead. And I haven't had as much time for the living. When so many spirits are restless and at times have leftover business in this plane, in this world, it takes up a lot of your time. So I think probably just to wander again for a while. I'm not certain where I might end up, but I'm sure things will end up well enough.
Have to wander alone, you know.
No, I don't. I would assume it would be the worst thing for my health to have someone tinkering with magic nearby with me. So of course, if you would like to join me for this wandering, dear, you're welcome to join me.
I've got nothing better to do.
I will prep the magic to heal you in the event that something goes awry.
It always does, doesn't it?
Akara, where are you going?
Anywhere that'll have me. Same as always.
I would have you.
Kier turns and goes, "You don't have to wander alone, you know."
Yeah, I can probably pick up some fights wherever you happen to go. Yeah. Yeah, I might stick with you for a while if you'll have me.
You know, you don't. This is overstepping my bounds. I know. You don't always have to fight. You know, Akara. Like we know we can count on you. You don't have to prove it every time we're together.
Yeah, but it pays so well.
It is a little hard, even with me wandering, not to notice the raging tiefling getting paid quite a lot throughout the area. It is a little hard.
You might even say you made 500 gold on this little run.
I'm not going to keep it all. You're all. It's more like I made 100. It's all yours too. All of yours.
So that's the question then, isn't it? What do you do with the cash?
Oh, good food, good places to stay, good people to,
No, tell me.
Sadi just does like this and just like just eyebrow raises.
Tier, on the other hand, is just kind of blushing, but and kind of scratching his chin. Just
Akara's gonna glance at Fariha and go, "Never mind."
I think if nothing else, if you would like to at least accompany, I think actually I'll have it be this way. Faria, you'll see her start to say something, and she'll stop for a second, and then she'll just sidle closer to Akara, but only within like as comfortable as she feels her getting close, and she will say, "Well, if you aren't going to ask, then I will do what I always do and take care of everyone and ask for you. Would you like to join Tyr and I in wandering around and making some money?"
Pull Fariha over.
Yeah.
Well, who else is gonna heal me?
I don't think anyone else would heal you.
I certainly don't have the skills.
Might come later.
I mean, like, I could try. I don't know if you want me to. And you just see little sparks come off her fingertips.
You're good at some CPR.
I can restore hearts.
That's more of a last ditch effort thing, Sunday. Which has its place. So it does have its place.
Yeah.
No, that's a good thing.
No, I know. I'm just y'all are all heading out, and I'm just gonna be here.
You can come with us.
Yeah. How much of the world have you seen?
She looks at the mountains. I've been at that one. I've been over there.
Oh yeah, no, that's no. Come on.
I've been that one too.
Come on.
I mean,
You have to.
how about this? We walk Umar back to the academy, and then we'll see where that goes.
I could do that.
Unless Umar wants to go by himself. And she just sort of like gives him the eyes, like, because she's still like resting his head on her shoulder, so she's like,
Freehill will follow that up by saying, being the sensible man that you are, you probably would stand the, probability-wise speaking, if I have that right, best chance if you were with all of us traveling. You are a man of numbers.
Tears on the other side of Sadi.
So, two things. One, that's not how probabilities work. Two, maybe, yeah, it could be dangerous. You never know. That's the thing you can't account for. And maybe it's good for us, to you're gonna make me say it.
Yes.
I would love for you to escort me back to the academy.
Yeah.
He said it.
He said it. It's written.
Said it.
There
It is in the records. We have it.
I will take note in my journal.
Take note.
It is going in the journal right now.
Yeah, write the day and time.
I
The
will.
day and time.
It's
I
official.
don't know the date, but I am writing. Does anyone know the date?
You know what the date is.
Okay. He writes down the date after getting confirmation.
Yeah. Umar gives you the date on multiple calendars. This is important.
Sadi just wraps her arms around him and just gives him a little hug.
He makes the face like he doesn't want it, but he actually squeezes your waist a little bit.
Oh.
And as the night goes on, you all have a long rest. You all heal up whatever wounds there are. Well, physical wounds at least. And you make your way back to the to the village that you came from. One interesting thing to note is there must have been some storm that went through all the way shrines as you were going back, because it seems to hit it in the exact place where the male figure of the lovers seems to like crumble, or there's a tree on it, but the female figure is perfectly fine.
Checks out.
Imagine that.
He deserves it.
Sadi is savage.
You see like just do finger guns and you see little electricity just come up.
The bisexual finger guns have been improved. We added electricity to them.
Oh. So as you make your way back to the village, which I do have a name for it. I did actually have a name for it. I need to pull it up. Baharghat. Yeah. So as you make your way back to Baharghat, you see that Payo has been literally waiting at sort of the path that basically leads to like the highway or the trade route or whatever, and you hear before you see and just like this very like blur of a woman just like streaking across the road, because I'll say for the purposes of the scene that you're sort of you're going uphill, and you see the streaking figure sort of like running towards all of you, and just goes right by you and just like bounces on Janger, and it's sort of like hugs and like literally spinning Janger, even though Janger wasn't really quite ready to receive the hug, and just is like, "You're back! They brought you back! It's so worth my dowry! Doesn't matter, you're back! And just like kissing them all over the face. And they just sort of are like freeze up just a little, sort of unexpecting it, and sort of looks at you for a moment, Akara, and then sort of just says, "It's good to see you again," and sort of like kisses Bile back. And she just, after like about a very awkward 5 minutes of all of this, stops and turns to all of you and gives you like the biggest bear hug that is possible for such a small creature. and she just is like, thank you so much.
Sadi's meeting her side. She's like, oh my God, you're welcome. And just like bear hugging her back. Like doing the little jumpy bounce thing that people do whenever they're hugging.
I was concerned you would never return like the other ones, and I'm just so glad you're back. Thank you so much. And she grabs you, Akara, and gives you like this big thank you hug.
They were very brave.
We very brave.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. Oh my God. Did you go in? What did you see? Did you actually see the tomb? What did you dream? What did you dream? And Chandra, sort of like awkward pause, says, of course I saw you. I dreamed of you.
And all I know, Sadi's like, I'm hungry. And she's just going to go into the village.
And she goes, really? That must be it then. I mean, it didn't matter. I'd still marry you anyway. But you know, it's good. That way makes things easier. And it's like, and Chandra's like, yeah, definitely makes things easier. Shall we maybe go see your family now? She's like, yes. Oh, all of you have to come to the wedding. And just goes on and on about it. And she's just making like, she's completely oblivious. She's not reading the room whatsoever.
Sadi already left. She went to go find food.
I'm just kind of wordlessly mouthing, Sadi. Sadi went.
Sadi.
Okay.
Free, I will follow Akara to go. Before she heads out, though, she says, if you need someone to officiate the wedding, I'm more than happy to offer those services.
Really? That would be amazing. Thank you so much. Oh my God, this is going to be the greatest thing ever. Oh, and it's just like completely oblivious. And just right now, like as she's talking, it's like dragging Chandra, and Chandra is just sort of like trailing along and going off.
Oh.
Doesn't know what to do with this excited bundle of joy.
Umar falls after the rest of his friends, just shouting after Pyle and saying, love is dumb and blind, and then just makes his way after the rest of them.
I imagine Akara is a little bit way ahead of me, but would it be possible to catch up with her?
Yeah, you all catch up within like moments.
She probably catches up and like not like shoulder checks, but like does like a very like light tap of her shoulder on Akara.
Akara does it back.
You know, that temple taught me a couple of things.
I hope one of them was don't go running into fire, because that was not something that I want to have to watch again.
I wonder why. Would you have missed me if I were gone?
Yeah, of course I would.
I would miss you the same. But no, that wasn't one of the things. One of the things it taught me was that there are quite a lot of detriments to holding on to something to an obsessive degree, especially when it involves love. You can't. I believe Tyr said it. You cannot control it, and it cannot come on one's whim. And I'd like to think as well that it also means you cannot demand of whomever and however many people you fall in love with for them to be anything else than who they are. Love is not replacing them for what you need them and want them to be. It is who they are and magnifying that brilliance. She pulls out a pair of platinum rings she found among all the treasure. I get the feeling you might want something like this. Before you ask, I'm not asking you to marry me.
Because it's a little sudden.
I'm taking a page out of your book. No, just if ever you would want to have me there healing you at an appropriate moment, just let me know and just hold on to this. Just wear it. And
Okay.
You'll know I'll be there to back you up.
Thank you. She'll take the ring.
It is for the spell components for a very particular spell.
Yes.
Aw.
When you need me and when you need someone to watch out for you. Whatever that means for the future. For either of us. I do not expect you to change for me, and I would not want you to. I am here for you.
You. I missed you, you know.
I missed you as well. More than I wanted to admit. I had gotten used to protecting everyone. I did not watch out for myself.
Well, if you're not going to watch out for yourself, then I suppose someone will have to. So it's a good thing that I'm coming along with you.
I don't think anyone would want to actually. What was the word that you said in there? I have trouble remember it. I don't think anyone would want to fuck with me if you're around.
I hope not.
Shoulder checks and then keeps walking after Sadi, calling out, Sadi, do you see noodles or anything? I actually am quite hungry.
Actually, as you call her out, she's like tossing she's like shoveling food around. She's like, yeah, follow. Got a big old bowl. Get her hands already.
And with that, I will say this is how we will end this particular game. Unless someone wanted to add something, as we are getting close to time. And thank you so much for playing this game. This has turned this very, very short thing I had written into something so much more. And for that, thank you. I'm gonna go around
Thanks
the
for
table.
running it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean it.
I'm gonna go around the table in now clockwise, just so we will go with, let me see my picture. We will go with Fariha or Angela. Please tell me who you are, where we can find you on in the world, and also your thoughts for this game.
So hello everybody, I'm Angela, also known as Phoenix24Femme on Twitter / the Philosopheme, which is also the name that I use for Patreon, as you can find my writings there, mainly poetry and some very old, I need to add some more to that, D&D character outlines of different backstories for characters I've created. I am a poet primarily, also a writer who writes for an all QT-POC artist collective called Art for Ourselves. We're an online media publication. Trying to remember everything else. I am one half of the Queerly Yours relationship podcast, where my partner and I, who are both trans and a polyamorous couple, we talk about different relationship insights in our we're almost at 8 years together. which has been amazing and great, and I love it. And yeah, you can also find me here on Welcome to the Party on Saturday nights running Adventures in Agni, a DnD5e homebrew setting in which Miriam, our wonderful DM, plays Didi, the yeeting lore wizard extraordinaire. But yes, I've talked a lot. I'll let everyone else. My thoughts for the game should just be this made me think more about what I expected of my character in the best of ways, and it felt so wonderful to have such a rich world come out of and thrive so much off of the wonderful interactions that every one of our players had with each other. I love all of you so much.
Oh.
All right, next is Akara or Lauren.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I played Akara. I am an audiobook narrator, podcaster, writer, also a poet, accidentally. And actually, all of those that I listed are accidentally. Can be found, like all of my professional stuff can be found on my website, lwsalinas.com. I'm on Twitter at Sithwitch. I'm on Discord at Sithwitch in the chat and everything. Yeah, I co-host the Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast, which is a Marvel MCU podcast.
Heck yeah.
We've been going for, we're almost on our 300th episode, so that's kind of nuts. I'm also on a podcast called Ladies on Period, which is right now taking a break. It's just starting up, but some real life issues came up. We talk about period films and where they got the historic stuff right and wrong. And we don't just talk Western movies. We've talked, I'm always taking suggestions for any non-Western stuff. Yeah, everything. So good. And my thoughts on the campaign. Yes, everybody's character is so good. I love all the character interaction that we've had. Found family is my jam. So yes, I love everyone so much, you guys. I've looked forward to this all week.
Oh. Okay. Next in order is Omar or DM Steve.
God. Yeah, I'm Steve. I'm DM Steve. You can follow me at Twitter at DEEM Steve. That's phonetically DM Steve. That's my Twitter handle. You can find me on Instagram, also that handle. I did mention this to start off with because we're going fast, but exciting news. I'm also the new panelist for Asians Represent, the podcast. So I'm actually a permanent cast member there. So now I get to talk about Asian representation in tabletop RPGs, and we're gonna do an actual play of D&D where we're playing fantasy China during the Qin Dynasty, and I'm gonna play a cool character. That's all I'll say about myself, besides the fact that I'm a garbage human, and you can follow me on Twitter to look at my garbage thoughts. My feedback for the campaign, I have a lot of I believe in being specific. Miriam, you did I'm gonna echo this again because I already told you, but that time when Vidya you spoke through the will, that was so heartfelt. You put a lot of labor into that, and it showed, it evoked a lot in my everything of me. It was fan-fucking-tastic. There were other moments as well. I think I feel like I'm not going to go through all of them because we have time. We don't have time. But Umar, every interaction Umar had with everyone else, I felt like we had real emotional connections there. We were saying things without saying things, and that was very special to me. There were a lot of things that really hit close to home, and I'm not going to go into details, but I feel like you hopefully kind of got that from me too whenever you hit a nerve with me, because I tried very much to be transparent in my own heart and Umar's heart as well.
Yeah. Honestly, when all of you are this like attentive, although that doesn't feel like the right word, but that's the closest I can get. It's not work for me whatsoever when it's such a collaborative effort. It's just amazing. So thank you. But moving on next. Just because I gotta get through everybody, because I could just keep talking forever. We have Sadie or Morgan.
Hello. Excuse me. Sorry. I don't know what's going on.
The most graceful entrance.
Graceful ballerina. I played Saudi, speaking of grace and beauty and all that jazz, and but I'm Morgan. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Serena Bezos. I'm around. I'm welcome to the party. I do a lot of this. I'm also on Victor Condition Gaming, doing their once a month. What do I do with them? Forbidden Lands campaign. I do various one shots with them as well. I'm also on the Roleplay Network on the Red Death campaign as I play Ignacia, and we're just now starting to release parts of season 2. So if you want to check that out, please do. Also on one shots on there too. I'm trying to remember what else I do. I'm gonna be in another game eventually. Something's happening. We'll see how it goes. This game, I like Down Family. This is great. I love how we already had this connection to start with, and just having the interactions that work with one another so well is great. Also, sometimes it's just nice to just play the dum-dum and just like just be away. Just be that lost balloon in the air.
Mm-hmm. the precious cinnamon roll, as our producer Leona likes to use.
Yeah.
So precious.
But yeah, it's nice to just, instead of just playing the serious characters, I'm like, I'm gonna play a not so serious character and I'm gonna enjoy it.
And you did it so well.
Oh, thanks. I pull from real life, All
right. And last but not least, our very own Thier or Sahoni.
Hi. I've been Gar Atkins, but my friends and you can call me Sahoni. You can follow me on Twitter at SAHO_stuff. Oh, sorry, that's SAHONI_stuff. I'm misspelling my own name. I work as a game designer and occasional essayist, and I'm currently working on a game inspired by X-Men and the spaces that marginalized people share and make for themselves. I'm also on 2 other podcasts. I am on RPG Pals Club, which is a Waterdeep actual play thing where I play an edgy teen werewolf who is helping to start a dog cafe in Waterdeep. I am also occasionally a guest on something called Barking Points, which is a furry politics podcast, but it's comedy. So listen to me get mad at Gwyneth Paltrow and make up NPR sonas.
Okay. Oh my God, you all are so awesome. All right, so for myself, I am Miriam. I created the world Serzamin, and within this world, also podcast. I do a podcast called The Musafirs, which releases on Mondays, which is a decolonized actual play podcast with a pretty awesome cast. And I also basically live here on the weekends. I am a player for Adventures in Agni Saturday nights, and I'm usually here as a player or a GM. Speaking of which, I will get into those games in a second. And then once the show's over, we're not going to raid. We are actually going to take a break for half an hour while Emissaries of Avitna sets up, which is also a game I'm in, where I play pansexual, lovable tiger folk that basically flirts with anything that moves. So speaking of 3V, there's going to be 2 more games before we have our big summer break, and we will come back after I think 2 or 3 weeks after that. So next week for 3V, I believe Yeah, 2 weeks. Next week of August 4th, we are going to be having Angela GMing basically not something that does not rhyme. Sorry, something that rhymes with Schmog Horts.
Okay. Okay, to be fair, full disclosure, it is very much based off of, and some of it off of first book stuff, but there's certain elements of it that are just me saying, why? No.
That's
No.
fair. That's
But
fair.
yes, for anyone for our POC viewers who are interested in getting involved in that, I believe we still have 2 spots. It is a Wizarding Academy one shot. You are just a group that's hired, either alumni or just current students, to come and solve an issue. You immediately get to meet all the professors, level 8 characters, preferably someone who uses some kind of magic. So high level, ridiculous shit, and also
amazing. And
Yeah,
then right
bullshit.
after that will be August 11th, which is also E. Then I will be doing an E-themed game in this world. So there's still, I think, 3 spots left. If you are interested, please sign up. For information on that, I believe you can type !Discord in chat. And if you are identifying as BIMPOC, message, 3V. Sorry, my bad. It is !3, the number, and V. And that should give you information of how to join and play in GM in the series. Oh, awesome. Amazing. With that, I believe we will now end the stream shortly, as we were just a little over time and we need tech time. And thank you all so much. This was amazing. So now wave awkwardly. Oh yeah, Discord and Patreon. Yes.
No, I think
keep waving.
It's fine. I forgot to tell you how much I loved your game. I'll do that off camera.
Okay, so there's just !Discord and !Patreon for all the details. Bye.